Hey guys, what is up? Sleeping Knight 77, aka Kyle, and welcome to my trick room. We are here with week 3 of the P4G against Mewtwo fan Nate and the New York Noibats. Now we are coming off a loss last week against CrimsonCBAD and the Detroit Steelwings. It was a 3-0, which I felt that I very much underprepared for. So we're going to try and recover this week. We have the Arcanine, who is making its Two Canadians debut. We have Meloetta, Tapu Fini, Kyurem, Xurkitree, and Muck. If I did not put out a team builder this week, I do apologize. I'm going to try to start doing those because I know that our analysts like them, but on the same token, I really don't for some odd reason. But so if I didn't put out a team builder, I apologize. I will explain briefly what each of them is going to do. You can see that Nate is bringing the Raikou, Hydreigon, Crobat, Mesprit, Scizor, which is Mega, and Tapu Bulu. Now Arcanine is a mixed bulk, a little bit of HP, 4 IV Adamant attack. Sorry, 4 IV Adamant attack. Arcanine, just for Flare Blitz purposes, Flare Blitz does at that IV kill something like Bulu, who would be banded, who no defense Bulu. It also has Crunch on it for stuff like Mesprit in case I don't want to take damage, and it also has Close Combat for Hydreigon. Next up is Meloetta, which is Scarfed. Will outspeed anything bar the Raikou, who if it is Scarfed, which I don't know why it might be, Crobat if it is Scarfed, and Hydreigon if it is Scarfed, if I'm not mistaken. I think it would tie Mesprit, unless I'm getting my speeds mixed up. So if any of those three are Scarfed, then it will not outspeed it, but it is Scarfed with Psychic, Dazzling Gleam, Hidden Power Fire, in case I predict a Scizor switch in, and Thunderbolt, because Crobat. No, not Crobat. He had Blastoise. That's what it was. We have Tapu Fini, which is a defensive set. A specially defensive set because of Hydreigon. It's supposed to be my dedicated Hydreigon counter, so it is a specially defensive set, max special defense, max HP, with 4 in special attack, so that way it can hit back a little bit hard. It does have defog this week, so we are actually going to try with hazard control for once. Next up, we do have Kyurem. AV will eat up any hit from Raikou, bar Aura Sphere, which is a little rare to see in League format, just because of the sole fact that if a Raikou is shiny, people tend to know that it has Aura Sphere, and also Aura Sphere Raikous are locked into Rash nature, which is not really a nature that you want if you're trying to defend against something that is specially attacking, which most of my team is, admittedly. So Rash nature wouldn't really help him in this battle. So if I don't see Aura Sphere, I would not be surprised. Xurkitree is the Electric Terrain this week. It literally does the same thing as the Hypnosis, except it just sets up Electric Terrain, boosts 1 speed. I'm running Thunderbolt, Hidden Power Poison for Tapu Bulu, and Dazzling Gleam for the Hydreigon, which it will outspeed at +1, again, bar Scarf. And of course, Muck is kind of a defensive set. It's got a little bit of mixed bulk, and it does have, I believe, 52 IVs in. It does have 52 IVs in attack and 4 in special attack, because I am bringing Flamethrower because of Scizor. So, without any further ado, we are just going to hop right into the battle. And as you can see, he leads Raikou, and I'm trying to counter that a little bit with my Arcanine. So he leads Raikou, played Arcanine, just to see what he wanted to do, and he's just going to Volt Switch out, which is completely fine. I sent him my Kyurem. Kyurem takes absolutely nothing from that. Again, it is AV. I did forget to mention that it is max defense, so it will be doing a little bit more than like a typical AV set, but just in that case, I do have AV on it, max defense, because it did live a Bullet Punch superpower and a Draco Meteor from a Scarf Hydreigon. So I send out my little Yachty, and if anybody's wondering why I named Muck Little Yachty, it's because Muck is a literal garbage Pokemon and Little Yachty is a literal trash artist. So yeah, so it is Poison Touch this week. And Poison Touch #1 right there on the Hydreigon. That is all that I wanted. Literally all that I wanted from Muck. Muck did its job right there. I wanted to whittle this Hydreigon down with the Poison Touch, and that's exactly what happened. But I am going to withdraw here. I am going to send in Paris the Tapu Fini, and he's going to Charge Beam me. Because that was a thing that I forgot Hydreigon got. I predicted Scarf on this thing 10 ways to Sunday, and as you can clearly saw from the knockoff, it did not knock off an item. Hydreigon is one of the Z captains, so needless to say, he Charge Beams me, gets that +1, and then Z move, Gigavolt Havoc, because I'm eventually going to use Tapu Fini right, I promise. I promise you, by the end of this season, I will be using Tapu Fini like a regular singles player. The only time I've really used Tapu Fini outside of this is, let's see here. I play VGC, I dabbled in it, and Tapu Fini is one of my favorite mons to use in VGC. But there it gets completely obliviated by a Gigavolt Havoc from Hydreigon, and I'm down 6-5 early. So there is that. That is highly disappointing. So I have to send in Meloetta. Sending it in like this, he knows that I am Scarfed. I'm just going to go for a Dazzling Gleam regardless. Just in case he does want to stay and just sack the Hydreigon, he does send in Scizor here, and it does nothing. Now the only thing I'm really fearing from the Scizor right now is a Pursuit, which he did not use. I get to send in Arcanine basically for free, and you're going to find that this is a relatively common phenomenon throughout the battle, because Arcanine hard counters whatever Scizor wants to do, even if it wants to knock off. So U-turn is going to do not a lot because of my leftovers, and he's going to go out into Yellow Sacred. Now I know that this thing has pressure. I just want to get my lefties. I also know it won't kill me with a Thunderbolt with the investments that I have, so I'm just going to stay in and Morning Sun, because I want Arcanine as healthy as possible. So he does Volt Switch there and sends out his Wingman. Now, again, this is going to become a common occurrence throughout this battle, because Crobat and Arcanine kind of wall each other because it is Bulky Bat, and Arcanine is a little bit more on the defensive side. So I'm going to withdraw here though, because I don't exactly know what it wants to do to me. I'm just predicting a U-turn, so I'm going to send out Kyurem, because again it is max defense, but he does use Cross Poison, which does a whole lot of nothing again. So here's the U-turn. I'm just going to go for an Ice Beam. At this point, Scizor will take me out with a Bullet Punch if it is max attack adamant, but I'm going to go for the Ice Beam here, and I'm not going to get a freeze, but he does, with that damage, I'm just slowly whittling this thing down, which is good. I go for Focus Blast here because I don't mind if Kyurem goes down here, but he's just going to U-turn, which is completely fine by me, and bring me down to 30. Again, I don't mind if Kyurem goes down here, or just because I have other things that can take care of what they need to. The Hydreigon's being slowly whittled down, and I have stuff to deal with the Raikou. So Kyurem is kind of useless at this point, and at this point it is just doing damage to everything. So just in case he did want to cross poison me again, I went for the Ice Beam. I don't get a freeze, but he's just gonna bullet punch me here and take out the Kyurem. So I am down 6-4, but I feel like I'm in a decent position, just because of what I have left. I still have Arcanine, still have Scarf Meloetta, so and I do get to intimidate the Scizor, which means it has to switch out or die. So he's gonna send out his Wingman again, and again here is where we kind of go about our little back and forth here. I'm gonna get damaged by Recoil. He's gonna get his Black Sludge, and I'm gonna get my leftovers. He's obviously faster than me. There is no universe in which this thing does not outspeed me. He's just gonna Roost, and I'm gonna Morning Sun. Because, again, I want Arcanine as healthy as possible. Oh, I lied. I Flare Blitzed here. I Flare Blitzed here, kind of seeing where the damage is going to be, and I get the burn, because 10% are awesome. So, I figure if I get a crit, maybe I could take it out, but I was kind of predicting Cross Poison there, not Roost. But the burn helps, just for the sole fact that it won't be doing too much damage to me anymore at all. Even with crits, I do get a kind of free Morning Sun here. So, I mean, all in all, Cross Poison does have a chance to poison. I forget how much the chance to poison is, and it does have a high chance to crit, but with the burn, it is basically doing nothing, and it's kind of just whittling it down. It's kind of just a defensive wall at this point. He kind of just needs to Roost and stay alive. He Cross Poisons again. I go for Flare Blitz, and at this point, I feel like he's going to Roost. I don't have Extreme Speed. If I did have Extreme Speed, I would have been able to take out the Crobat here. But again, I am not Extreme Speed. I am Close Combat for Hydreigon. I am Flare Blitz for Tapu Bulu and Scizor, and I'm Crunch for Mesprit because I don't want to take any damage to Art. So he's just gonna Roost here, which is completely fine. I'm just gonna Morning Sun because even though I'm 50% or 50 HP lower than max, I do want this thing as fully HP invested as I can. So I don't really know what the rest of his team is going to be like because I've only seen 3 Pokemon. But I am going to send in Little Yachty here. He is going to, at this point, go for another Roost, get back up to full, which I don't mind. It's obviously his defensive wall, so he does want it to stay full, even though he won't be dishing too much damage out to me. But I want to go out into Little Yachty here, just because I did want to put at least a little bit of pressure on him, and he is going to go out into Family Friendly again. And I'm going to go for Knockoff just in case he did decide to stay in. I wanted to kind of gauge how much damage that would be doing. And I did predict Earth Power on this thing. But I also know that with my special defense, I will be able to live it. And he Earth Powers me, and holy crap, that did a lot of damage because it was a critical hit. And I do Poison Jab, and I do take out the Hydreigon, so we do get a Mon back right there, but that crit is a little bit unfortunate for me, because if I did my calcs correctly, this Thunderbolt wouldn't have done, I don't think it would have knocked me out, and I would have been able to knock off whatever, item it was holding, or whatever I would have been able to knock off for a little bit more damage, but that's the second poison touch right there, and Wavy Wacky Inflatable Arm 2-man Kyle that you can't see in camera is happening. He does Thunderbolt me, and he does take me out, but now this leftovers is being counteracted and more by this poison, and this Raikou is going to be slowly whittled down. So now I get to go back out into Meloetta. Scarf Meloetta obviously is a threat. I go for Psychic here because I did kind of want to see like what its investment was. It does take a decent chunk of it, and he's just going to Volt Switch out, obviously into Red Robin, who, if it has Roost, I know it's going to go for this here, so I decide to go for another Psychic. Kind of seeing its investment, and it comes so close, but it won't take it out. That's probably a good investment on his part, good planning, but again, if he didn't reveal it last time, I'm praying that he doesn't have Pursuit here, and he doesn't, so I freely get to go into Arcanine, and here's kind of where things kind of turn my direction. He does knock off here, and so my leftovers are gone, which is a little bit unfortunate, but I still have Morning Sun, so I'm still able to move back up, and he decides to go here into Psysnack, the Mesprit, as opposed to Crobat. So I get to freely Flare Blitz here, and do a little bit less than half, and again, I have Crunch on this thing, just for the sole purpose of I don't want to take a lot of damage from it, and it comes so close to killing. I'm just expecting to die here. I wouldn't have been surprised if he killed me, but he U-turns, and he brings me down to 8 HP, which is completely fine by me. I get to Morning Sun, and he brings out his Tapu Bulu, which brings out Grassy Terrain, so that means I'm going to get even more health back, even if it's just slightly. So I get to go back to above half, and the Grassy Terrain does bring back a little bit more health. And he's Scarf Bulu, and that is the fourth piece of hacks that I've gotten. And that was definitely the turning point in the game, because he was Scarf Bulu. Had he hit that Stone Edge, he would have taken me out. All in all, my game plan was, again, trying to whittle everything down so that way Xurkitree can come in. I, at this point, don't need Arcanine anymore. It does kill the Tapu Bulu, and it does here kill the Psysnack. I don't want anything else. I can't really switch in Meloetta at this point, for the sole purpose of I'm trying to preserve a little bit of differential, so I feel like sacking Arcanine here is the best option, because I do still have Hidden Power Fire on my Meloetta just in case Xurkitree does happen to go down to something, so I can still like Hidden Power Fire the Raikou, and the Scizor, and and the Crobat. So I still have Psychic on that too. So I do predict that this thing will take out at least the Scizor though. So I can freely send in Xurkitree, because nothing that this thing wants to do to me is going to take me out, and I get to set up Z Electric Terrain, which again is going to boost my speed. None of his last 3 Pokemon are going to outspeed me, because this Raikou is obviously leftovers, which has been revealing throughout the entire match. Crobat is Black Sludge and bulky, and obviously Mega Scizor cannot have another item other than its Mega Stone. So this Xurkitree is now outspeeding everything on his team. I'm just going to go for the Thunderbolt, because I'm in Electric Terrain, and it's going to take out the Raikou at this point, giving me a free +1, and it's basically a repeat of week 1 at this point with a +1/+1 circuitry. With a boosted circuitry, it's going to, this Scizor is going to try to bullet punch me, and it's going to do about 30, but Thunderbolt is going to take out this Scizor easily. And whether this Crobat outspeeds me or not, even if the Crobat had outsped me, Meloetta would have outsped the Crobat. So all in all, I'm thinking at this point it's either going to be a 1-0 or a 2-0. Circuitry does outspeed the Crobat and is going to easily take it out with a +2 electric terrain boosted Thunderbolt, and that is the battle. So a very good battle to Nate. Had me on edge for quite a while, for at least the first, I want to say, fractions, 5/8 of the battle. Please go check him out. His links will be in the description down below, as well as all of the other P4G coaches. I do encourage you to check them out. A lot of them are very good content creators. I've been friends with Nate for about 6 months now. Nate's a very cool guy, a very good content creator in his own right. So again, I do encourage that you do go check out Nate. His descriptions will be his links will be in the description down below. Again, if you do want to leave a comment on this video, feel free to. I do appreciate any comment that is left. Leave a like. It does let me know that you appreciate my attempts at battling. But all in all, we are 2-1 now, and we move into week 4 with that record, going up against the creator, one of my best friends on the internet, KyleAye, and his Miami Don fans. So until next week, guys, I am Sleeping Knight 77, and I am going to go to sleep. Good night.